this video, I want to cover how you can use Google Ads to grow your real estate business. How you can find buyers and sellers faster and just have a general more scalable approach than something like cold emailing or calling or anything like that will allow you to. So I'll show you everything you need to know about Google Ads to start running them, and then I'll share my secret real estate lead generation strategy to get the most results for your money. It's a strategy I use to get hundreds of quality leads every single month. And as always, I'll share a bunch of resources in the link in the description on my website where you can access them and use them and set up your campaigns way faster than if you were to make all that on your own. So let's jump right into it. But firstly, who am I? So I'm a marketing expert based in Ireland. I generate millions of dollars of ad attributed sales on platforms like Google, Amazon, and LinkedIn. I'm the owner of thatecomdude.com, and I mainly work with US companies. You can also follow me and connect with me on LinkedIn. Before we jump into anything, we have to explain Google Ads. What is pay-per-click? It's a form of advertising where you only pay if you get a click. Here we have a Google search. So I searched up houses for sale in London under £300,000, and we can see an ad right here. The search is our keyword. Now it's also made up of many different keywords such as houses for sale in London, and houses for sale for £300,000. So if I was invisible homes, I'd have added this keyword into my Google Ads campaign. And then when someone looks it up, my ad pops up. Now what happens then? Well, we serve our ad and there's a cost associated with that ad. In this case, $1.32. When someone clicks this ad, I pay Google $1.32. And if my ad didn't show up, someone probably paid more. So I might have paid $1.36 for that click. But this begs the question, why would you use something like Google over like Meta or Instagram? Why would you spend money on Google over any other marketing platform that's out there? And there's a lot. Well, the answer is purchase intent. People who search have intent to do something. You are far more likely to come across someone looking up for houses for sale in London or New York or Miami, and that person searching up houses for sale in London, Miami, anything like that is far more likely to be interested in your services than someone who you showed an ad for houses for sale on Instagram or Facebook, where there's a very low likelihood they're interested. Leads from traffic sources like Google are so far easier to convert. They are very warmed up. We're going to go over what that kind of means in a minute, but it's faster to get going. It's faster to get good quality leads from Google than any other marketing platform. What is purchase intent and what is warmed up or what is a cold audience? So here we have a top of funnel person. Now, real estate isn't the best example of what a top, middle, and a bottom funnel is, but effectively awareness and discovery is where you find out, oh, I can sell my home. So you'd find it out from like finance YouTubers, you'd find it on from articles, maybe like, oh, house prices are amazing right now, that type of thing. And you'd find those type of things on YouTube and Meta. These are very top of funnel platforms. Then we have consideration. Should I sell my home? Again, you'd find out from like articles that house prices are amazing right now, find out from YouTube, finance creators, that type of thing, and also from Google. You might be searching like, oh, what are the house prices in my area? And then decision, where you actually make the decision to sell your home. That is going to happen on Google or through your email. If you signed up to like a mailing list in the middle of funnel or maybe in top of funnel like a YouTuber's mailing list or something like that, you're generally going to decide, I'm going to sell my home either on Google when you search for it and you've made the purchase decision, or you have some offer in your inbox. So these are two places you make your purchase decision. And with Google, we skip right to the bottom of it. So we're right there and we can start selling houses right away without convincing anybody about any of the things at the stages below it. So the question is, how do you run a Google campaign for real estate? Well, it's very similar to other type of campaigns, except we're gonna have to be very good with our keywords. Generally, real estate keywords are very expensive. The example I gave of a click being worth $1.32 is not really the case. That was a very cheap keyword, but generally in the United States, you're gonna be looking at like above $4 per click, which is kind of expensive, but there's a very high purchase intent. So it works out in the end. We're going to show that a bit later. But how do you run a Google campaign? Where you have to decide your keywords. Again, we said they're kind of expensive. So you need to build a keyword list by researching what keywords you should and should not bid for. The list should be tailored to who you're targeting, what they're searching for, and where. And you can use keyword planner to start building your list. So again, we can look up things, we can see the average monthly searches, and then the costs per click. We're going to go over exactly how you build your keyword list in a minute, but you have to be very careful about it and curate it very well. So if you're selling luxury properties, you probably don't want to bid for, affordable homes for sale. The best way to explain how to build a keyword is to make our own sample one. So we're going to pretend that we are looking to sell people investment properties in Florida. That is what our business does. We specialize in investment property. So we're going to go through a little exercise of which keyword should you choose to bid for if you're selling investment properties in Florida. So for our keyword list, we have to choose from house prices Miami, Miami buy home, Florida buy house, Madeira, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm going to be honest, Madeira beach properties, and then Siesta Key buy properties. So try and pick out the highest relevance keywords to your offer. Keep in mind things like the location of someone in the funnel, again, the kind of funnel we discussed here. Where would a keyword land them in this funnel right here? Who they are if they're searching, and what they're likely to be actually searching for. So again, which of these keywords would best suit this type of business? All right, so which keywords should you bid for? Well, firstly, house price Miami is a bit too up the funnel for us. They're kind of looking around for prices, that type of thing. We're not too interested in bidding a lot of money for that. We don't really want to bother. Miami buy home, it's more specific and there's some purchase intent, but it's too broad and could be really anyone. We don't want to bother. Florida buy house, well, it's way too broad and it could be literally anyone, so we're not interested. Madeira beach properties, it's a bit better. It's likely to be in the target demographic. It's a touristy location, but it lacks purchase intent, so we don't really know the purpose here. And then we have the perfect keyword, which is Siesta Key buy property. It's very likely to be in target demographic. It's a touristy location with a lot of investment properties, and it has purchase intent. So this is our perfect keyword. But if I were building my own keyword list, which we're going to go in a minute, I'd probably include Madeira beach buy properties as well. We're going to talk a little bit about keyword nuance, okay? You never actually know who the majority of people searching for a keyword are. You find that out while running the ads. Assumptions should be tested, and it's worthwhile to test a broader set of keywords. So you might want to go a little bit broader because you never really know what type of results you're going to get. And especially if you write your ad copy correct, you could run ads for house price Miami. You'd be paying a little bit more, but if you have investment property or expand your investment portfolio, something like that in your ad copy, you can still run for house price Miami. The next thing we're going to talk about is keyword groupings. When we start selecting our keywords that are going to be good for us, we can group them by similar ideas or concepts. This later on when we're creating our ad campaign, this will become our ad groups in our campaign. So we basically group similar concepts or ideas together to test different groups against each other. We're looking for basically which of these groups will have better performance overall, and we turn off the ones who are not performing as good. And you can organize them in a spreadsheet. So I have a spreadsheet attached. We're going to look at it in a sec. So we have group number 1, which is Siesta Key broad. Okay, so these are like Siesta Key buy home, Siesta Key Florida real estate, Siesta Key Florida houses for sale. Then we have group number 2, which is Siesta Key beachfront, beach homes for sale, beachfront homes for sale. Group number 4, we have Siesta Key near. So searches like homes for sale near Siesta Key, that type of thing. So we have different ideas and groupings of ideas in different keywords. Now again, this is only focusing on Siesta Key because we kind of determine it's a really good location, but you might have more groupings based on location or different campaigns based on location. So you might have one for Madeira Beach, Miami, that type of thing. And yeah, as I said later, once our campaign is running, we can see which groups are performing better, and we pit them against each other and see which one is giving us the best performance, and we turn the poorly performing ones off. So before we continue, I'm going to open up the little campaign overview template I have here. This will be available on my website for you to download, and it's going to have a little cheat sheet for you here. Then we're going to go into what this means a little bit later, but here is our campaign overview and how we should structure it. So this is exactly what our campaign will look like in the Google Ad dashboard. So if we do all this prep work, it's going to take us no time at all, maybe like 10 minutes to set up our actual campaign. And we have a nice bird's eye overview of what our keywords, our ad copy, and all that is. So here we have campaign 1, Siesta Key. So, we're going to be focusing on Siesta Key first. We can do more campaigns later for our Floridian real estate merchant. But so yeah, here we have our broad keyword group, and then we have our ad copy to match. Another benefit of splitting up our ad campaign by grouping is we can make relevant ad copy for each grouping. So again, if we go back here, we have our keyword groupings and then ad copy to match. So in the broad grouping, we're going to be broadly talking about homes, broker services, listings, that type of thing in Siesta Key. But for our beach homes ad grouping, we're going to have beach homes, beachfront, that type of thing. So we're going to make them as relevant as possible, and that will increase our click-through rate. Basically, you want people who click through from our ad copy to our landing page. And I have a little sample generator here so you can see roughly what it will look like in your ad results. So you'll see roughly what your ad will look like in search results. So it's a little handy thing. And there's more things here we're going to explore later. With keyword groupings, we can make our ads relevant and we can test performance really, really easily. We have another benefit, and it's really important, and that's ad quality score. The more relevant your ad is, the better it's going to perform. The Google Ads algorithm will generally reward more relevant searches because Google wants its search results on its search pages to be very relevant, because relevant search results and relevant ads are good for the consumer, and they want people to engage and use the search results and the platform. So they reward very relevant ads. So again, if we had no kind of keyword groupings and these were kind of bundled together and we had them go to the exact same ad headlines, if we didn't make relevant ads to our keyword groupings, our beachfront keywords would be very relevant, while our generic kind of broad keywords would not be relevant. So we'd get docked marks on these and we'd end up paying more on average per click. But if we do it as we do in our little document here, where we have, a keyword grouping to a specific ad, we have 100% relevance in all of them, and we get rewarded for that with cheaper clicks and better rankings. But there is one more element to this little robot that is going to determine how much we pay for clicks, and that is our landing page. So I'm going to make a separate guide about landing pages in the future, but the general idea is landing pages are the final and potentially the most important part of your Google Ads campaign. The landing page is where you actually present your offer, your business, your service, and you convince someone to buy or sell from you. Now, your landing page should be relevant to the query and the intent of the user. So again, if we have, a keyword grouping about siesta key, we want the landing page to at least mention siesta key. Now, it doesn't have to be relevant to every single keyword. Like, you don't need to plug in keywords like real estate, Florida houses, beachfront houses, etc. Google is relatively intelligent and can group different topics together, so you don't need to jam pack your landing page full of keywords. Generally, you're just looking to be more relevant than your competitors. Another word of caution, you should not be sending keyword traffic to your homepage. Your homepage has a bunch of different links and a bunch of buttons and a bunch of content, and people can be distracted and go to places there shouldn't be when they should be considering your offer instead. So paid traffic is expensive and you want to get your money's worth. You already know what this traffic is looking for, what they're after, and it's really easy to, get them to a page that provides it. So you really shouldn't be using your homepage. It's not a good idea. Now, if we go back to our document, I do have a landing page wireframe here for you. So a wireframe of a landing page or a website is basically like a mock-up of a site. You make before making a full website, so you know what ad copy you'll have on it, what images, everything like that. So I have a wireframe sample here set up for you. So it features the top segment of your website, which would feature a call to action, a hero image, and then your title. A hero image is like some engaging image that, is showing your professionalism or your team or your office, something like that. It is meant to, be a visual representation of your offer or your business. And then we have some main pain points or concerns. So, maybe how qualified are you? What are you providing? And you have your offer. So again, you're going to hit them with the offer right here. And then we have a section about social proof, which is, testimonials, reviews, that type of thing. It does matter and you should have it in your landing page. And then at the end, we have a form. So again, it's a very, very simple landing page setup. And basically, I use this type of setup for nearly every single landing page I've ever done. It works, it's consistent, and it generates plenty of leads. Now, you don't have to do something like this. You can go wild, you can have slideshows, videos, etc., all that type of thing in there. Just try and keep it as brief as possible. I have some notes here for you as well. So where do I host my landing page? So it can be a separate page on your site or a new site entirely. So if your site is like realestatebrokers.com, you could have a landing.realestatebrokers.com, and that subdomain can be hosted on a completely different service. Or it could be just a subpage on your main website. There's benefits and downsides depending on what type of infrastructure you have, how do you want to measure it, that type of thing. I would generally recommend, if your main website is not very optimized, if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load, you really want to consider hosting it somewhere else. And where else would you host it? I would recommend Lead Pages. Lead Pages is a very, very simple kind of website builder. It can help you spin up a landing page, and it offers various services that help you out. If you're not confident in your ability to make a convincing landing page, Lead Pages has all the type of tools you need for a newbie to make something that converts and works, especially if you're in a competitive market. The more competitive your market is, the more you want a better landing page. And there are other type of segments. So you can see we have segments here like the little bullet points, the hero section, the free consultation, the videos. These are sections on the website. These are sections on the landing page. And there is various other sections I regularly add to landing pages. So we have the process. We visually describe the steps or the processes for using the service. So like, what's step 1, what's step 2, what's step 3? Like you explain how it works to the consumer because they might not always know. Now, my favorite section is the comparison section, where you compare your service or your offer to another service or a competitor. Now, you don't have to name them directly. I generally don't, but they get the idea. And it's very, very, very powerful. Competitors are not going to address everything on their landing page and can use it to your advantage. So I'm going to give an example, not from the real estate industry, just because I have a really, really good example, and that's solar panels. So most people on their landing pages never mention service times. So service times being what happens when your solar panels break. And most competitors didn't mention it, and they were generally not very good about servicing panels in general. So on our landing page, I had a little comparison section showing that our service times are great and we do it, and competitors struggle to service and maintain panels because they're understaffed, and competitors didn't mention service times. So people were so much more likely to convert on our website. And when those people who, saw our comparison page go onto other websites, they never see service time mentioned, and it's top of their mind because it's like, oh, what if my solar panels break? Comparison is very, very powerful, especially if you can find something that is not addressed on other people's websites. And again, it never will be because not everything, you can't mention everything on a website. And then navigation. So by restricting navigation, what's meant is you can turn off the header on your website so people can't go to the homepage, they can't go to About Us, nothing. They have to navigate through the landing page to fill out a form and then go to the rest of the website. I don't like that, especially if you have very good content on your main site. If you have very good content, you want people to go around the website organically and discover things for themselves, and then have the landing page to return to that is super relevant to their offer. So navigation, I don't recommend disabling it, but I wouldn't recommend encouraging it either. You don't want to have buttons going to various different things on our website. You want to keep it neutral and just, keep the header in there. So yeah, here's just a kind of a breakdown of what is the difference between a homepage and a landing page. And like, these rules can be broken. So again, most people will be like, oh, you don't want navigation on your landing page. I disagree, especially if you have good content. And yeah, your landing page is taken into account by the Google Ads algorithm. So here we have our broad keyword grouping, and it's 100% relevant to our headlines. So our headlines are about homes in Siesta Key. So again, we're relevant. But if our landing page is talking about Miami homes or Florida homes or something more broad, well, now we have a mismatch here and we're only 50% relevant. So we get docked marks on our ad quality score. So we get lower rankings and higher cost per click. While here, someone else who, has a Siesta Key beachfront ad group and they have relevant ads and then a relevant landing page, they get much, much better results than us. So ad quality score. So again, that's what we're talking about this entire time with relevance. Generally, there's a bunch of things that go into your ad quality score, but all you need to know is the more relevant you are, the better your results will be. So if you have two advertisers running largely the same ads and the same offer, the advertiser with the more relevant ads will always have higher click-through rates, higher conversion rates, and lower cost per clicks. Google does not control your conversion rates. They can do nothing about it. But generally, the more relevant your offer and results are to the people searching, your conversion rates will be higher. So it's best for you and best for Google to have very, very relevant ads. Now, conversion tracking. So I'm going to cover it in a different video as it is quite complicated. But basically, you just set up a Google Analytics account. You will get a piece of tracking code that you put on your website. And then whenever event form fires, so whenever someone submits an event form, you want to trigger an event on the event form saying, oh, someone filled out a form. So this is the most basic form of conversion tracking. It's going to do you wonders. But ideally, you go beyond that to also track phone calls, if someone emails, and you have advanced conversions and then lead conversions and that type of thing to get more accurate conversion data. Depending on your strategy, again, we'll go over my real estate strategy a bit later, but it is critical for smart bidding campaigns because otherwise you won't be able to optimize for anything. So setting up your campaign. So nearly everything we need is already set up. So our campaign setup will be very, very easy. So I set up this little sample account. Now ignore the Polish currency. So we're going to use this little account to showcase what your account setup would look like. So we're going to create a new campaign. I'm going to speed through it because it's already mostly done. So if you follow the steps in our conversion track, well, it's not really steps. Again, I'll make a different video about conversion tracking, but if you followed it, you should have a little lead event showing on our website. And in this case, it's purchase, but you will have a little lead event or a form fill, something like that in here. So we're going to track this event and we're going to select the search campaign. And our goal will be website visit. This doesn't really matter. And we type in the name of our website here. We name our campaign. We're going to name it bottom of funnel search. We are going to kind of skip this step for now. We're going to focus on clicks. So we're going to come back to the bidding strategy a bit later. And we're going to ignore this. Campaign settings. You always want to tick this and this off. We don't want these. And then where is your campaign targeting? So we're going to talk about campaign targeting a little bit. So again, we're going to go with siesta key and we're going to include this. Now, obviously, but wait a minute. Not everybody who's looking to buy properties, especially if it's investment properties, lives in Siesta Key, Florida. So we can go a little bit broader. Maybe we do the entire state. Maybe we do the entire state. Well, that's a bit very broad. But we could go even broader and do the entire United States. Because if you're looking to buy a property, especially an investment property, you're not 100% guaranteed to be in the geographical area. In fact, you're kind of unlikely to live in that area. So we're going to go a little bit broader. Now, you might ask, oh, but you have 3 locations set up and they overlap each other. Well, that's not very good. That's actually great because we can actually then later in our campaign, we can check locations and it's going to kind of segment it like that. So we know, oh, most of our traffic is in Florida and very little is coming from the United States, like the rest of the United States. So we can unselect that and then only target Florida and save a little bit of money. But yeah, I do. But it could be the case that, a lot of people in New York are buying Siesta Key properties. So we don't know. And then we're going to do presence or interest. So generally I'd recommend this, but for a real estate kind of investment type of thing, we'd go for presence or interest. In fact, you could possibly do, if Siesta Key was a bit bigger, you could probably unselect these and do presence or interest, as people who are interested in buying a property will have researched a little bit about that area. But for our purposes, again, we're going back to state and country. English, yes. So language doesn't really matter too much. Audience segments, we ignore that. We don't want anything to do with this right now. Broad keywords, never use broad keywords. Now we're going to discuss what the different keyword types and all that mean in a second. You want to ignore all this AI stuff. It's not very good. You can see here it suggested keywords for me already. Now, because I typed in website.com, which is, as a sample, that isn't my actual website. And it suggested these keywords, but we're gonna remove them. Now we're prompted with this ad creator. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually turn this into our first ad group. So we have Siesta Key by home, Siesta Key Florida real estate, right here. Okay, and now it pre-generated this for us, which is very annoying. So we'll have to get rid of all of this. And again, we have a preview here, and that preview looks a lot like the thing we have right. All right, and then we go on to make our descriptions, which again, we copy from our document. So this setup takes very, very little time. Now again, my ad copy here is not very good. Ad copy is a very kind of time-consuming process. So I didn't go through it in this situation. There's like basic capitalization errors here, but I'm committed now, so I'm not going to go back and fix it. Now here you verify your business and you get access to a little logo. That's great. And site links, I wouldn't recommend them for this scenario. Google will be like, add site links, add site links. Site links are little things that you can see. Site links are links underneath your ad that'll go to different sections of your website. It's not recommended in this scenario, but you can add them for sure, especially if you have great content on your website, like, how do you buy investment property in Florida, that type of thing. That might be a really good site link to add here. But it has to have like some sort of purchase intent. You can add little extra bits here. These are more asset types. Always add a phone number. You don't want to add a lead form because you want people to go to your landing page. You can't have people just fill out a lead form on Google, and you rarely ever see this type of thing because it's not very effective. You want people to actually read through your website because they'll be better leads, they'll be better informed, they're more qualified, just much easier to live that way than, Okay, and now we go on to budget. Now again, I have this in the Polish currency. You'd have this in dollars. You'd want to spend at least $200 a week, really, on your campaign. So if you want to spend $200 a week, you'd be looking at a daily budget of $40. Why is that? Well, because you only want to run it on the days you are in business, and most likely you're open Monday to Friday. So you're going to be running your ads Monday to Friday because a lot of people are going to call in and you want to be there on the phone when they call in. So again, Monday to Friday is when you're going to be running your ads. So it's only $40 per day. But yeah, so now we have our basic kind of campaign setup. You'd go ahead and publish it. If you don't have conversion tracking set up, it will prompt you with some conversion stuff here. Now, yeah. So this is install a Google tag. This is specifically Google Ads. This is specifically Google Ads tracking. Now we're not really interested in that. We're going to be tracking through analytics as our little conversion tracking here says. Oh, I forgot a step. You'd link your Google Analytics and Google Analytics conversions to Google Ads. You do it on in preferences, and then there's a link you can add there. Now don't worry about this, conversions will be covered in a different video. So now we have our bottom of funnel search campaign. Now I clicked pause here just so it wouldn't run, and we click inside of it and we have add group 1, and inside of add group 1 we have the keywords we added. Now again, we want to change the match type here to phrase. We're going to cover the match types in a minute. All right, beautiful. Now we'll go back and we can rename it to Siesta Key Broad. And what we would do now is just click the plus icon here and add our next campaign, or our next keyword grouping. Now you can see the keyword grouping here has a different kind of thing around the keywords. It's this little square bracket, and those are the keyword match types. Continue, and we'd go on to make our ad. Okay, so you get the idea now. So we're gonna click out of here. So what are these little things around the keywords? Well, they're match types. So there's 3 different types of match types on Google. There's broad, which is what happens when you don't add any sort of bracket or quotation mark to your keyword. You have a broad match. And then if we add a quotation mark, it's called a phrase match. And if it's square bracket, that's called an exact match, okay? So I'll just mostly read out what's here and what they kind of do. So when you have a broad keyword, Google will quite literally bid for whatever is tangentially related. There is a non-zero chance that when given the broad keyword Siesta Key Homes, it will try to bid for Florida rent apartment, which obviously is completely useless to us. Never ever use any broad match keyword when doing a maximize click or manual cost per click campaign, as all your money will be wasted because all the budget will just go towards random clicks with no alteration to it. Google will have no idea what a bad keyword is or a good keyword is without conversions or a smart bidding campaign type. We'll go over those in a sec as well. So what is a phrase match? Well, Google will bid for similar phrases to your given keyword. So in this scenario, it's likely it will bid for Siesta Key Homes for rent, even though that's not the keyword we gave it. This is still not what we want. We don't want Siesta Key Homes for rent. We're not interested in bidding for that type of keyword, but it'll still match it. So over the years, phrase match has become more and more like broad match light over the years. So it's like broad match, but way less aggressive. So we'll bid for similar concepts and ideas. But you can still use it to comfortably run max click or manual cost per click campaigns as long as you monitor your negative keywords. Make sure to remove keywords like, Siesta Key Homes for rent as soon as they pop up. And then we have exact match, which is the best match type we can use here. So exact match in theory should only ever bid for the exact keyword it's given, in this case Siesta Key Homes. So you'd have to type in exactly Siesta Key Homes for your ad to pop up. This is no longer the case actually. So it will bid for similar phrases. Even though we have phrase match right here, exact match will still bid for similar phrases. So, but out of all the match types, it'll most strictly conform to your original keyword, unlike the other types. So it'll bid for similar or alternative phrasing that have the same concept. So in this scenario, it'll bid for, siesta key properties. We put in siesta key homes, but it would bid for siesta key properties as it's conceptually exactly similar to the original keyword. Now, you still have to monitor exact match for negative keywords that you can exclude from bidding on because, it might go a bit broader than you hope. So this is what the match types are. You generally don't want to use this one. You want to use this sometimes, and you want to use this all the time. So, but you might have a question. Why would you ever use broad match or phrase match? Well, because generally, if we go way back, we had our ideal keyword, siesta key by property, okay? The truth is, not many people are going to be searching for this keyword. Maybe it's going to get 100 searches a month. Well, we still have, we're going to get maybe 10 leads out of that in a month. But we want more leads than that. So, what do? Well, we have to bid a bit broader than our best possible keywords. So that's when phrase match and broad match come in. We need to find the ideal sweet spot between being broad and too specific. If we're too specific, we're going to get very little impressions, very little clicks, and very little leads. If we're too broad, we're going to get a lot of clicks, a lot of search results, but we're not going to be getting our money's worth for the leads we're bringing in because we're going to be overpaying for random stuff and not focusing on what matters. So you have to find the ideal sweet spot between these two. And these are your tools to do so. We're going to cover bidding types. So for a search campaign looking for real estate leads, we only look at 3 bidding types, and that's max clicks, manual clicks, and maximize conversions. So when you do a search campaign, you can choose your bidding type. We saw that in our ad manager. And there's a lot of them out there, but don't worry, we're only going to be focusing on 3. There is 2 types of bidding types. There's manual bidding, where you choose your own keywords and where you choose exactly how much you're willing to pay for each keyword. That's called manual clicks, or manual cost per click, or MCPC. So that's the kind of thing you're probably thinking of when you think about Google Ads and keywords and pay-per-click. But there's smart bidding options as well. So we have maximize clicks and maximize conversions. With maximize clicks, Google will choose their own bidding for each keyword, and they'll try to get the most possible amount of clicks from your budget as possible. In the maximize conversions, if you have conversion tracking set up, what it'll do is it'll find the keywords that are the best performing to get leads out of. So it'll go for keywords that are the best for leads. And you might ask the question, well, obviously this is the best because Google will use its AI mumbo jumbo and all that to get us the most possible amount of leads. And it's not that simple. So, all right, so now we covered that, we're going to go into my super duper secret real estate lead generation strategy. So for a search campaign looking for real estate leads, we're only looking at, again, 1 campaign type and 3 bidding types. So we're looking at search campaigns and then 3 bidding types already covered. The recommended budget is at least $200 a week. So we already covered all this. We're going to go into the actual strategy now. So my recommended DIY strategy is you've done your little overview and you made your landing page. Now you're in the ad dashboard. Well, how do you actually do your bidding strategy on that to get leads and make Google work for you? Firstly is to make sure your campaign overview is up to snuff. You've selected the best keywords and you have the best ad copy possible and all that stuff. The campaign overview and the landing page is where most of the battle is done, okay? The bidding and the bidding strategies and all the conversion stuff is kind of downstream of that. If you have great ads and a great landing page and great keywords, it'll all fall to place. So my recommendation for a do-it-yourself strategy is you start off with manual cost per click or manual CPC or maximize clicks. With manual CPC, you do all your own negative keywords. You try and get the most amount of clicks, again, not being too specific, but not being too broad, and you do it, or use maximize cost per clicks. You'd still have to add negative keywords. And in fact, it's a lot more important that you do because Google has no idea, because Google will bid for anything right now. With maximize clicks, it'll bid for anything as long as it's under a certain threshold, right? So you wanna narrow those 2 in, not too specific, not too broad, until you see good results. And you run it for 2 weeks. So again, that's $400. This could be too little. So this will be our kind of testing phase for the campaign. I'd recommend a higher budget of around $400 a week for the first 2 weeks because you're looking to get conversions, okay? you need to have conversion tracking set up. It is extremely important. So you run it for either 2 weeks or until you get 5 conversions, okay? So you're looking for 5 people to fill out a lead form or call you or anything like that. And after those 2 weeks or those 5 conversions, you look at your keyword list and turn off keyword groupings that have spent a lot but got no conversions. So you have just 2 keyword groupings and one has spent $100 and gotten 4 conversions, and the other has spent $400 and gotten 1 conversion. Well, you obviously turn off the first one. So after you do that, you turn off the worst performing keyword list. Again, sometimes it might be the case where your keyword grouping has only spent $20 and gotten, no conversions. You don't want to turn it off then. You just want to turn off keyword groupings which have spent a lot of money but gotten nothing. So after that is done, you basically check your negative keyword grouping again. It's very important to build those out. You check your keyword list and you basically check what Google has bid for so far. It's in the Insight tab on your Google Ads Manager. Keywords to your negative keyword list, so keywords Google will not bid for, you add keywords you don't want it to bid for. So you'll see them, they're like irrelevant or something like that. You basically want to prune your keyword list. You want to show Google what not to bid for. And after you've done all this type of housekeeping and removed stuff you don't want from your campaign, you will change your campaign bidding type to maximize conversions. It's going to go off and it's going to perform way better. And over time, it's going to get better and better results until some sort of plateau. And that's when we want to improve things further by, increasing spend and doing a few more advanced techniques. So you can A and B test landing pages. Basically, you can, for example, A and B test landing pages. So you set up 2 different landing pages and pit them against each other to see which performs the best and gets you the best cost per conversion. You can have email sequences. You want to be on your landing page. You want to be collecting emails if possible, even if they're not becoming a lead. So you can have like newsletter or like some freebie that you can offer, even if they don't fill out the lead form. So we're building up this kind of email list to get free recurring traffic to our offers, that type of thing. You can set up retargeted campaigns and multi-channel campaigns using stuff like PMax or display. These are more advanced campaign types. And all of these things can bring more and better leads at a lower cost per acquisition. So that's the cost per acquisition is the amount we pay per lead. Okay, and then the final section is I'm not getting conversions. Why am I not getting conversions? Well, your conversion tracking could not be working. Are you getting forms filled in and calls from your site? Are they getting tracked where they might not be getting tracked correctly? So you can download Google Tag Assistant or use the conversion tracking tools on Google Ads to help you troubleshoot your forms, make sure everything is fine. Well, okay, I have my conversion tracking is working and I'm getting like, maybe I'm getting some conversions, but not very good results. Well, maybe you have incorrect or poor targeting. So you want to deep dive into your ad metrics in the Insight tab in Google Ads. Are the keywords you're bidding for actually relevant to your offer? Did you set up your location targeting correctly? Did you exclude some demographic from your ads? Again, you don't want to touch the audience tab. If you did, redo it and then not touch it. And then the final thing is, well, I did that and it looks good. Well, maybe your landing page is poor. Are you sending people to your homepage? You already said you don't want to do that. Does your landing page doesn't have to be pretty? Awful looking like $19.99 landing pages to this day have incredible conversion rates because they have exactly what people are looking for on them. Maybe you made your landing page too pretty. Maybe you put too much effort into visuals and all that, and you have to scale it all back and bring back clarity to the offer and your service. Did you look at your competitor landing pages? Is there a ton of competition? Again, I mentioned it before. The more competition there is, the better your landing page has to be. And your landing page is a copy on the landing page and your offer and that type of thing. You should use your most prolific competitor's landing page as inspiration for yours. And you can download the wireframe template I showed earlier in the video on my website. But okay, so you tried all this, and if you're still stuck, what do? Well, you can visit my website at thatecomdo.com or email me to get a free account audit for your Google Ads account. I can see what's up, what can we do, and how can we make it better. I'd offer things like advanced Google Ads strategies, all the kind of more advanced next level stuff to get just the most performance from your campaigns and your ad spend as possible. If this was of any help, you can visit my website in the links below or my LinkedIn also in the links below. And if you want to access any of the resources I have made, this PowerPoint will also be available on the website alongside everything I showed so far. Things like conversion tracking and bidding types and much more free strategies and content on this channel.